The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers. This is the TFfangeek coming to you with a quick collection update video with some Transformers action figures I recently got from Amazon. I was really hoping that all the Transformers in this order would have arrived at the same time, but Amazon, for whatever reason, decided to delay the release of some of the figures a couple of weeks after the first batch came in, so basically I managed to get some of the action figures from the most recent wave of Transformers Age of the Primes, which I believe is wave 5 of the line. And so wave 5 of Age of the Primes, I believe it consists of 9 figures, 5 deluxes, 2 Voyagers, and 2 leaders. Of those 9 figures, one of the leaders is a re-release, and one of the deluxes is also a re-release of a figure that was originally sold in a Target Store exclusive 4-pack, being Prime Cliff Jumper. So I passed on that figure, but for now, the other figures that I did get from Amazon, which arrived here about a week ago. First up we have deluxe class size, we've got the version of Ratchet from the Transformers animated series. He is a retool of the mold that was originally used for Earthrise Hoist, and I honestly was hoping that the next version of this mold might have been the yellow Diaclone version of Trailbreaker, but animated Ratchet, yeah, that's pretty fun to see the version of Ratchet from Transformers Animated get a modern, updated deluxe class figure. Whether or not this mold's going to be retooled into animated Ironhide is uncertain. Ironhide never actually traveled to Earth, and he retained his Cybertron alt mode, so I personally don't see Hasbro nor Takara Tomy using the Earthrise Hoist mold to make the animated version of Ironhide, since it transforms into an Earth-based truck. But yeah, really nice to see Ratchet there. I believe Ratchet is, he's the 4th of the 5 main Autobots from Transformers Animated to be given a modern Generations Chug-style figure in the Age of the Primes line. The others, what we got during the Legacy Trilogy, Legacy Evolution and Legacy United, I believe, were the lines when they came out. But we already got Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Prowl from Transformers Animated having been given Chug-style figures as well, so it's nice to see Ratchet there. Hopefully Bulkhead will follow, and he will be a leader-class figure, if not larger. I personally wouldn't mind if we got the animated version of Bulkhead done as a Commander-class-sized figure, because his OG animated leader-class figure is the size of a modern Commander-class figure. But moving along, the next deluxe figure we got is the Transformers Prime version of Smokescreen. And I don't know if this is true on every copy of Smokescreen, but inside the box, Smokescreen's chest is slightly mistransformed, and as a result, I've seen this on more than one review of people who got a hold of Age of the Primes, Prime Universe Smokescreen early, where his chest is sitting above his the bottom half of his face, and it's coming up to his eyes depending on the angle you have him at. But yeah, it's kind of annoying seeing him mistransformed inside the box. But yeah, we got the Prime Universe version of Smokescreen. I believe he's an extensive retool of the mold that was originally used for the Studio Series 86 version of Jazz, but he might actually be I could be incorrect, and he might actually be an entirely brand new mold. I don't know why I thought someone said that Smokescreen was a retool of the Transformers Legacy Prime Universe knockout figure, which itself was a retool of the Studio Series 86 Jazz. I could be wrong. Smokescreen could be an entirely brand new mold. I should have looked that up before I started recording this video. But yeah, there we got Smokescreen here. Despite some parts of him despite some of his paint apps being done in red paint, one thing a lot of people have been quick to point out is that with the exception of the Transformers Prime version of Smokescreen here, all of the all the other 4 deluxe figures from Wave 5 of Transformers Age of the Primes, in addition to being Autobots like Smokescreen, the other deluxe class Autobots, the other deluxe class Transformers from this wave of Age of the Primes, they all have red as one of the predominant color schemes here, besides Ratchet and also the Prime Universe Cliffjumper figure, which I got the original release in the Target Store 4-pack during Transformers Age of the Primes last year in 2025. The other deluxe figures in this wave are Generation 1 Power Glide, who is a new mold, and also Generation 1 Swerve, who, like his OG G1 action figure, Swerve is a retool of the Legacy Gears mold, so he's mold mates with Gears. So yeah, a lot of fans and collectors pointed out that for this most recent wave of Age of the Primes, 4 of the 5 deluxe figures released in this wave have red as the primary paint job, and all 5 of them, including Smokescreen, are Autobots. So yeah, there's no Decepticons, there's no villainous deluxe figures in Wave 5 of the Transformers Age of the Primes line. The next figures I got, one I was slightly more excited for than the other, and I'll let you guys comment down in the comment section which of these figures you think I enjoy having in my collection, actually more than the other. But lastly, we've got the 2 new Voyager class figures from Wave 5 of the Transformers Age of the Primes line. We've got Armada Sideway. We got the version of Sideways from Transformers Armada. Sideways has always been my favorite character from the Unicron trilogy, and after getting his Cybertron Deluxe figure last year in 2025, even though it was released as a Walmart exclusive, I still managed to get a hold of a copy of that. I was excited for the Cybertron version of Sideways that came out last year. I unfortunately still haven't reviewed Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Cybertron Sideways, so I'm debating if I want to do a separate review of both versions of Sideways, or if I should do a double review of both figures at the same time. But yeah, it's nice that the Armada version of Sideways, that he's been released at mass retail, and even though he's been released at the size of a Voyager class Transformers action figure, I've seen a couple of photos of people who have the OG Armada Deluxe class Sideways figure that Hasbro released back in 2002, and I believe the Age of the Primes Voyager class figure, I believe it's about the same size as the original Transformers Armada Deluxe class Sideways figure. I do have the OG Armada Deluxe class version of Sideways. I'm actually staring up at it right now, which is why my eyes are going off in that direction. So yeah, I'm going to bring it. I have him up on a shelf, permanently displayed amongst my Unicron Trilogy Transformers figures, so I'll bring my OG Armada Sideways figure down off of the shelf to do a size comparison with the Age of the Primes version of Armada Sideways. But yeah, I really enjoy having him in my collection, and what I meant to say was I enjoy that out of all the characters from Transformers Armada and the Unicron Trilogy in general, Hasbro and Takara Tomy decided to recognize Sideways being one of the fan-favorite characters of the Unicron Trilogy, and so last year in 2025 we got the Cybertron version of Sideways done in a deluxe class size, and now we've got the Armada version of Sideways done as a Voyager class figure. And one of the main reasons he's been released as a Voyager class figure is because of his main gimmick left over from Transformers Armada, which basically, Sideways, he is both an Autobot and a Decepticon, so that's why his, throughout his box, his faction symbol is Autobot and Decepticon symbol that have been sliced in half and meshed together. That was also true on Sideways' the Autobot and Decepticon faction symbols on his original Transformers Armada action figure, where one side was an Autobot, the other side was the Decepticon. And the gimmick with Sideways is he lives up to his name, not by the direction in which he moves or he drives. Yeah, his name's Sideways. It doesn't refer to the direction of moving sideways across the horizon. It basically, his name is a play on the fact that you don't know what side or what way he is going to be on. You don't know if he's going to be a heroic Autobot or a villainous Decepticon. So, yeah, that's the main gimmick with Sideways. And his main gimmick from the Armada line of the Minicons was that he actually had two Minicons named Rook and Crosswise, who could actually combine into a rider that would sit on him in motorcycle mode, which I believe the Armada version of Sideways is the only motorcycle Transformer to actually have a rider driving him around. So out of all the motorcycle Transformers that have ever been released, Armada Sideways is the one that's come closest to being a robot in disguise, since he doesn't look like he's driving himself. But yeah, the main gimmick with Sideways was that his two Minicon partners, Rook and Crosswise, would each transform into a different head for him to use. Rook, the mostly black Minicon, turns into Sideways' heroic Autobot head, while Crosswise, the mostly silver Minicon, transforms into Sideways' evil Decepticon head. And the OG Minicons of the versions of them could also combine to form the driver for Sideways. And in the original Armada line, the combined robot mode of Sideways' Minicon partners, Rook and Crosswise, he originally didn't have a name, but they have named the combined form of Rook and Crosswise here for the Age of the Primes line, and he's now known as the Minicon Mirror. So that's nice to see that there. And back in the Transformers Armada line, Sideways, even though all the other deluxe class size Transformers released in the Armada line back in 2002 and 2003, even though they all came with just one Minicon and Sideways came with two Minicons, Sideways still sold for the same retail price that all the other deluxe figures in the Armada line retailed for. So even though he came with two Minicons, not just one, he still retailed for the exact same price. So in terms of the number of individual Transformers action figures you got when it came to buying the deluxe class-sized Transformers in Transformers Armada, that was the gimmick with all of the Armada action figures, is since they came with a Minicon partner, you basically got two Transformers action figures, and as a result, two Transformers characters for the price of one. But with Sideways having both Rook and Crosswise with him, you basically got three for the price of one. So Sideways was the best deal when it came to the deluxe class-sized figures from the Transformers Armada line. That said, Rook and Crosswise is transforming into Sideways' two Autobot and Decepticon heads. As that's the main thing that they transformed into. They don't actually have actual vehicles, so some fans of Armada have argued over the years the reason why Sideways didn't retail for slightly more money than the other deluxe figures in the Armada line was because of the fact that Rook and Crosswise just transform from robots into Sideways' heads without actually having any vehicle or alt modes themselves. So yeah, you basically didn't get Minicons that basically got Minicon headmasters when it came to Rook and Crosswise here from here. So that said, of the handful of characters we've gotten from Transformers Armada and the handful of modern Minicons we've gotten with the Armada Transformers action figures that have been released so far, these two right here, Rook and Crosswise, have now become the first and currently only Transformers Armada Minicons to be given modern action figures that have been released at mass retail. All the other Minicons from the Armada series that we've gotten that were released by Hasbro before Rook and Crosswise here with Sideways, they were released as exclusives. We got Jolt with the Power Links version of Armada Hotshot, which was released as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. We then got Decepticon on Whisper, who was released with the Shatterglass version of Sideswipe, and which was released in a 2-pack with the Shatterglass version of Rodimus Prime / Hot Rod. And so Whisper was a repaint of, just like the Shatterglass version of Sideswipe is a repaint of the Armada version of Wheeljack. Whisper is a repaint of the Transformers Armada Wheeljack's Minicon partner Windshare, who Unfortunately, Whisper has not been repainted into Windshear. I was kind of secretly hoping when the Armada Wheeljack action figure that was released in the Legacy trilogy came out that it would have been included Windshear here, but unfortunately it did not, and so Decepticon Whisper, the Shattered Glass version, is the only action figure of that minicon that's been released so far. And then before we got Rook and Crosswise, we got last year in 2025 during the first year of the Transformers Age of the Primes line, we finally got modern action figures of the three minicons known as the Air Defense Minicon Team, which are the three minicons, Sonar, Jetstorm, and Runway, who combine into the Star Saber Sword, and they were released with the Transformers Age of the Primes version of the Armada version of Nemesis Prime. Armada Nemesis Prime. Age of the Primes Armada Nemesis Prime was released as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, just like the Power Links version of Armada Hotshot. So yeah, Rook and Crosswise are now the first and only minicons from Transformers Armada who have been given a mass retail released modern action figures. So yeah, I'm really thrilled that we got the Armada version of Sideways at mass retail. If there was a Transformers character that that appeared by all accounts to be destined to be released as an exclusive Transformer and not at mass retail, it would have been the Armada version of Sideways, since he comes with not just one but two minicons. So yeah, I am really thrilled and really shocked that we got the Armada version of Sideways at mass retail when we got his, especially even after we got his Cybertron action figure as a Walmart exclusive here in the United States last year in 2025. So yeah, if there was an action figure that that by all accounts Hasbro, if they had wanted to make as much money as possible, if there had been an action figure from the Armada line that had greater potential to be released as an exclusive instead of mass retail, then it would have been the Armada version of Sideways. So it really is a sigh of relief and even a wave of excitement for me to see him at mass retail instead of as an exclusive. And then next up, we've got the latest member of the 13 original Primes to be released in the line that's named after them, Age of the Primes. And so here, done up in a brand new mold and as a Voyager class sized action figure, is the Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class Generation 1 Nexus Prime. Now Nexus Prime is a Transformers action figure that a lot of Transformers fans and collectors there's been little to no middle ground when it comes to Age of the Primes Nexus Prime. Transformers fans and collectors either completely love or completely hate Nexus Prime. I actually saw one review where the reviewer put in the title of their video, "Is this action figure overhated by the Transformers fan base?" But in the Transformers comic books, Nexus Prime, he was the member of the 13 Primes he actually had the ability of separating his arms and his legs from his robot mode torso and transforming them not only into their own robot modes but also into excuse me for yawning on camera, it's the middle of the night when I'm recording this. But in addition to transforming into their own robot modes, Nexus Prime's arms, legs, and his torso could also transform into their own vehicles, and basically Nexus Prime was the first ever Combiner Transformer, and all Combiner Transformers that exist today, Superion, Defensor, Computron, Victorion, just to name the Autobot Combiners, and even the Decepticon ones by definition, Devastator, Menasor, Bruticus, Predaking, Abominus, Lyokai, Iser, and Dino King. All the Combiner Transformers that exist because of Nexus Prime discovering the technology of how to separate his arms and legs from his torso and then having all of his body parts transform into their own robot modes and vehicle modes. So a lot of Transformers fans and collectors were hoping that maybe perhaps Nexus Prime would have been a Commander class-sized action figure, so he would have been an entire Combiner. I personally admit I was hoping Nexus Prime would have been the next Titan class figure in the Age of the Primes line, and that he would have been a full Combiner sold in a box set at a mass retail and released and marketed as a Titan class sized combiner. But unfortunately, yeah, we've technically only gotten Nexus Prime's torso or so for his combined mode. We don't have the arms or legs for him yet, so it's rumored that again, I apologize for yawning on camera and not stopping the video, but supposedly Hasbro is going to release the limb bots for Nexus Prime so that he can be a full combiner. But it's apparently it was announced, and it's now been confirmed that Nexus Prime is compatible with the combiner skeleton that was sold with Age of the Prime's Commander Class Silverbolt, which basically means Nexus Prime uses the same combiner skeleton as Superion, and so since we got Silverbolt as a Commander Class figure with the Superion combiner skeleton, and a lot of Transformers fans and collectors are wondering how Hasbro is going to do the rest of Nexus Prime's combined mode, apart from the torso bot, which is this figure here, and his limb bots. How are they going to do the skeleton when it was an extension of when the combiner skeleton that Nexus Prime is compatible with, which is Superion's skeleton, was sold with Silverbolt. So a lot of fans and collectors are wondering just how in the world Hasbro and Takara Tomy are going to turn Nexus Prime into a full combiner like he was in the Transformers comic books. We'll have to wait and see. Personally, I myself can see Hasbro and Takara Tomy doing a boxed set of Nexus Prime and having the torso for Nexus Prime be a repaint of his Voyager class figure right here, with the paint job slightly altered. I can see a second release of this figure in a box set with all the parts necessary for Nexus Prime to finally be a full combiner and are getting released, but time will tell at this point how Hasbro and Takara Tomy will finish off Nexus Prime. But because it's been announced that the limb bots are among the deluxe for Nexus Prime, are among the deluxe figures being released next year in 2027 during the next arc of the Transformers Age of the Primes subline of Transformers Generation, which is known as it's been confirmed that the next line of Transformers Generations action figures being released next year in 2027 after Age of the Primes it's going to be called Evolution of the Primes. So yeah, it'll be interesting how Hasbro and Takara Tomy finish off all the parts necessary for Nexus Prime to once again be a full combiner Transformer. Armor. So the image here on the side of the box showing which is the poster image for the Age of the Primes line, showing the 13 Primes. Nexus Prime is right here in the middle of the image on the side of his box art. He's standing in between I believe it's supposed to be Alchemist Prime and Onyx Prime. Yeah, when you look at the image of his box art of his robot mode, even inside the box, and then you look at the image of Nexus Prime here for the poster image for the Transformers Age of the Primes line. Yeah, the robot mode pictured here on the box art of the 13 original Primes, it doesn't even look close to his Voyager class figure here in the Age of the Primes line. I will acknowledge that the artwork for Star Convoy, it has him actually looking like he has God Jinrai's torso, so the artwork for the 13 Primes, it doesn't necessarily match up with the other actual action figures we've gotten of them in the Age of the Primes line. But if you look here on the box art, on the poster image for the Age of the Primes line, Nexus Prime is a head taller than Onyx Prime, who was released as a Voyager class figure. So for me personally, I really hope that Hasbro and Takara Tomy announce that they are going to do the limb bots for Nexus Prime and have him be a full combiner, because after I found out that Nexus Prime was a combiner, I was secretly hoping that he would have been released during the back during the Combiner Wars and Age of the Prime and Power of the Primes lines in 2015 and 2018. Had we gotten an action figure of Nexus Prime using the Prime Wars Trilogy Combiner mold, I definitely would have bought it in a heartbeat. But yeah, I'm really thrilled. Even if it's just his torso, I am just like the other 13 original Primes. I am really thrilled to finally have an action figure of Nexus Prime here in my Transformers collection. So that is my most recent purchase of Transformers action figures from courtesy of Amazon. We've gotten the Age of the Primes Wave 5 Deluxe figures of Animated Ratchet and Prime Smokescreen, and we've also gotten the two Voyager class figures from this wave, which are the Armada version of Sideways and Generation 1 Nexus Prime. Yeah, I'm really thrilled to have all these figures in my Transformers collection finally. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to finally completing my collection of the 13 original Primes. I decided last year in 2025 when Wave 1 of the Age of the Primes line was released. I think the figures that released in Wave 1 of Age of the Primes included Prima, Solus Prime, and Megatronus Prime. I decided I was going to wait until all 13 of the original Prime action figures for the Age of the Primes line were released before doing a group video, a massive video of all 13 of the original Primes at the same time. It's been announced, however, that the Age of the Primes action figure for Vector Prime, who is technically the last of the 13 Primes to be given a figure in the Age of the Primes line, Vector Prime is not going to be a new mold, unlike Alpha Trion, who got a new mold compared to his Legacy action figure. Vector Prime is going to be a retool of the Legacy version of Vector Prime that we got in Legacy Evolution, which itself was a retool of Legacy Evolution G-Axis. So yeah, a lot of fans and collectors are disappointed that Vector Prime is not going to be a brand new mold, and he's going to be the member of the 13 original Primes that's a retool of a previously released action figure instead of an entirely brand new mold. Also, once the so I may since I have the Legacy version of Vector Prime, I may bring him out and just do a review of the other 12 members of the 13 Primes that we got in the Age of the Primes line in one massive Prime 13 Primes video review. I'm still waiting for Liege Maximo to arrive from Amazon. He's one of the two leader class figures from Wave 5 Age of the Primes. The other leader class figure, which is one of the re-released figures along with the deluxe class Prime Universe Cliffjumper figure that's packed with Legion Maximo, is this guy I'm pointing to up here in the top corner behind me, Big Convoy. So for those who missed out on Big Convoy when he came out a couple months ago, if you find Liege Maximo at your local store, then Big Convoy is the figure that's come packaging with him. So if you missed out on Big Convoy the first time he got released, and you've decided that you do want to get him now and add him to your collection, in the coming weeks, as Liege Maximo appears for the first time at retail stores, Big Convoy is getting a second release. So yeah, for those who missed out on Big Convoy, you're going to get a second chance to buy him along with the first chance to buy Liege Maximo. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Now the video's gone on much longer than I wanted it to. I originally wanted to try and keep it under 10 minutes, but it's been, I think, 2 to 3 weeks since I did my last video, and when I get to talking about the Transformers, I just can't stop. As you can tell by the wall behind me, I still have a long way to go before I finally finish playing catch-up. So thank you guys all so much thank you to all my friends and subscribers for your continued support. This has been the TFfangeek, bringing you my latest collection haul video of Transformers Age of the Primes action figures. Since I already have Big Convoy and Prime Universe Cliffjumper in my Transformers collection, I decided to pass on their version. So technically, for Wave 5 of Age of the Primes, there are only 7 action figures that I wanted to add to my Transformers collection, and I got 4 of them now here in my collection. Actually, I'm halfway there to completing Wave 5 of Age of the Primes. So thank you guys all so much, and next time, you guys, please remember, collecting is a lifelong hobby. As long as you enjoy it for the rest of your life. And please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.